Good morning. Welcome back to my kitchen. It's a gorgeous Saturday morning and I'm going to finish up the peaches that I have of the second flat of peaches that I have bought from Palisade. They're from Clark's orchard and I really like these peaches. They are very large. They are the ones that have the fuzz on them, which I really like. And I've named this video Dip and Slip because that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'll show you here in a moment what that means exactly. It's just such an easy method. I'm not going to be pressure cooking these this morning. I'm just going to be doing the hot water bath, which goes fairly simple. It really does. But for you that have never tried it before, I'd like to show you the fast and easy way. On my stove right now, I have my canning jars that have already been sterilized. I have a pan of water going, hot water, that I'm going to process these peaches, and then I'll bring it back over here to show you how easy this is. So hang on just a second. Okay, I'm over here at my stove area now where I have my canning jars that have been sterilizing for a good probably 15 minutes in here, going on almost 20 minutes. I also have, right here is a pan of boiling water that I'm gonna set these peaches in. I'm gonna start with 6 to show you this morning. I get 6 of them in here. Just stick them in the hot boiling water. And this is going to allow the skins to come off very, very easily. Well, this little pan only does 5, but that's all right. That's okay. I'm gonna get them in here. Now, because they are a peach with a lot of fuzz on them, they're not slick like the kinds you find processed in a grocery store. Now they have changed color a little bit, and that's what I want them to do. Might be able to squeeze that last one in there. Just a little bit, yeah. I can get him in there. You don't need to cook this, but just a few minutes in here because we're not cooking the peaches in this pot. That's not what this is all about. This is just to get the skins to come off really easy, and very much like when I can my tomatoes, whether I'm doing stewed tomatoes or whatever kind of tomatoes I'm working with. I usually put them in hot water just like this to get the skins loosened up a way that I can get them off real easy. Real easy. Okay. About a minute, I would say, on this. Not very long. Go ahead and take them out. I couldn't let these sit in the box very much longer. These were getting a little ripe, so I needed to get going on these peaches. Okay, now I'm going to stop a minute and go right back over here on my sink to show you the next process. Okay, the next process on doing these peaches is you wanted to take them from the hot water, and now we're going to put them in some ice water, which is this one right here. Just take any pan, stick them down in the ice so that you can cool them down. Just get them cooled down. And then you want to take just a knife. There's already a rim right here that you can see on a peach. And this is where it comes off very easily. This is the dipping in the hot water, now the little cold bath, and then you just start peeling off the skin, slipping it off. If you want to go a few more minutes, which I think I will the next batch, I'll go just a few more minutes in the hot water, and then these skins come right off. I'm using the quart-sized jar again this morning. Only this one I'm going to be using the blue jars. I had them, and I think they'll be all right in that. Some you have to kind of help along just a little bit. Like I said, I think the next The next 6 that I put in there, I'll go ahead and cook it for just a little bit longer. Not much. Not much. Now, I'm not going to slice my peaches. I'm going to go ahead and do halves this morning. So I'm going to take the half now, and then I'm going to stick it in some cold water, but I have added, I could not find anywhere, and that's okay, the Fruit Fresh. And the Fruit Fresh for canning, all it does is eliminate browning while you're in the process of doing your canning. So the substitute is just a little lemon juice. That's all it is. And that's what I'm going to use in this water right here while they sit and wait for their friends to join them, because that's what they have to do. If you find a little brown spot or whatever on your peaches, just go ahead and take it off during this peeling stage right here. Like I said, the skin just comes right off. It really does. Slips. Dip and slip. It's not a dance that we do. Well, I suppose you could if you wanted to. In your own kitchen, it's your kitchen. Cook the way you want to. If you want to dance, go right ahead. Go right ahead. And again, they just peel open so easily. Go ahead and take that pit out of there and stick them in the nice cold lemon juice of the water here. So that's my morning this morning, that I'm going to be finishing up on all these peaches before I lose them, which I don't want to because they're wonderful peaches, they really are. I'm going to save a little bowl out of peaches just for eating, and that's fine, just for eating. I went to an estate sale yesterday, and I'm going back today. They weren't quite open this morning when I drove over there, but I'm going back. They have an antique sprinkler head that I'd kind of like to have out in my yard. Took husband with me yesterday, and we hit, I don't know, probably about 4 yard sales. One of them had some nice vintage things. They had an electric timer, which I may use on different things. Husband picked that up. You know, these husbands that never like to go on a yard sale, well, sure enough, they find something at the yard sale. And that was one he just thought I had to have. Okay. There was an antique pressure cooker there. I almost bought it. But, you know, on something like canning, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with my new, because with the old-fashioned canners, you have to make sure that the bands around the lids are new and tight. And, of course, some of those are hard to find. And so passed that one up. I was kind of reluctant, but I passed that one up, but I did not get that one. And it's all right. It's okay. I have to kind of dig this part out on this one. It's not cooperating the way I want it to here. Sometimes you have to help them along. And that's what I'm doing this morning, helping this one along. There we go. That. So this is the first step. I said you get your canning jars all nice and washed, thoroughly sterilized in the boiling water. That's the very, very first step that you do on canning. Then on this, you get you another pan of nice hot water. And then you want to dip these, whether it's tomatoes, peaches, whatever. You're going to dip them so that you can get the skins off very, very easily, which, as you can see, I am. And with these, now we're just going to put these in some lemon water, unless you have the fresh fruit. If you have that, that's great. I think everybody's canning right now. That's why I couldn't find it. And I didn't want to wait days on Amazon, and it's such a large quantity buying that on Amazon that I thought, you know what? I'm going back to old school and just putting the lemon juice. When in doubt on anything with canning, you know, it's wonderful nowadays that you can just look it up on the internet. And that's what I do on a lot of stuff. It's like, what's the substitute for this? What do I do on this? And right now I've got an answer. It's not like in the old days that you had to actually go to the library and check out a book. Remember those days? I do. Get your little library card for the year. Yeah. Okay, so that takes care of that process right there. Now I'm gonna go back over to my stove area and show you how I'm going to put these in the jar and what's next. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back over here at my stove area. My jars are finished cooking, they really are. I'm gonna keep the heat on because I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna keep the heat on, but I am gonna take my jars out. Be very careful on this. I just wanna take each one of these jars out. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the bands and the lids in the boiling water. I don't like to take them out until I'm absolutely ready to put them on at the very last minute. And I'm not ready for that just yet. I have some little ones in here. I didn't have a whole set of the larger quart size, so, and that's okay because every now and then when I want to pull out a jar of peaches, I may not want a very large jar. You know, it might be too much. So a little one's going to be just fine for me. Okay, so next step is to make my syrup that goes in here, and I'm going to do that next. Okay, I'm back to show you the syrup part of what you're going to need for after you get the peaches in the jar. So I'm going to be using 10.5 cups of water. You don't want to boil the sugar, but you do want to get the syrup mixed anyway. You don't want to boil it, but you do want to get that sugar blended nicely and dissolved into the water. So I'm going to go ahead and put 10.5 cups of water to 2.5 cups of sugar. Place that in, give it a nice stir around. Keep your eye on this and let it cook just until you can't see the sugar anymore and it's become a syrup. Doesn't take very long on that either. While that's doing, you can add more of your peaches into that hot water to get another batch started, which I'm doing right now. Get another batch started so that you can start peeling. Now the peaches are just fine in here with the lemon juice. They're not turning brown. Everything is just fine. So while that heats up, I'm going to go ahead and finish some more of these peaches to be put in this bowl right here so that I can get started going on putting them in the jar. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back once again. Now comes the process of taking the peach, and I did two times now of putting them in the hot water, dipping them, getting the skins off of them, and mine are going to be halves. Now these are large peaches, so I don't know. I'll see when I start with the jar if I want to do the halves. I may have to cut them into slices. I'm just going to have to see here. Some peaches you can do and some you can't. So I'm just going to pick up the peach and I'm going to place it. That's what I was afraid of. Yep, let me grab a knife. If I had used the open mouth, the wider canning jars, I'd be able to put the whole peach in there. But I can't on this, so that's okay. It's all right. You learn as you go, and I'm just going to take this now and cut the peach into nice slices and put the slices down in here. It's going to be the same thing. It's all going to taste the same. It really is. Like I said, my peaches haven't gone anywhere as far as their color. because they're in a lemon juice, which is nice. This is the same principle as doing the beans. You're going to pack as many as you can into the jar. Or if I was doing tomatoes. I haven't bought a whole box of the tomatoes this year. I should. There was a lady down here years ago that had a farm that she grew wonderful tomatoes. They were just the best I had ever eaten. And she's not there this year. Or her crop isn't there this year, I guess I should say. And so I can't get the nice tomatoes that I wanted. Okay, so see, that's going in the jar just fine, filling up just fine. Now I'm going to leave it to there. Hang on a second. Well, you always should have some kind of a clean rag to wipe your hands off on. Okay, so now I'm going to take, now comes the syrup water. So now we're going to take the syrup and we're going to add it to the jars. And you want to fill it the very same as if you did the beans that I showed you, that you're going to leave a 1/2 inch of head space. So the sugar water syrup here, it's basically what it is. It's just sugar water syrup. And I'm going to fill that now all the way until I get up to, I like to go to this line right here. That's where I'm going. That line right there. Then I will take a nice damp clean cloth and I will wipe off the rim to the jar, and then I will, this is why I leave them in the sterilized water, is I will pick up one of the lids, place it onto the jar, because you want to keep that, you want to keep this part right here, nice and soft, sterile and soft. Then you can place your band on. And again, another finger tight is all you want to do on the jar. Then I'm going to be placing that back in this hot water, and I'm going to be boiling this for 20 minutes with enough water that it comes 1 inch over the top of the jar. So I'm going to keep going with my jars here of filling them with the peaches, which now I have to do halves. That's all right. I don't mind that at all. I think it looks very pretty in the jar. I really do. And I don't mind having it in the blue ball canning jar either. They're kind of festive. So I can bring this out at any time of the year and have nice peaches. Won't that be fun? That would be really fun. I didn't think I'd do a video this soon. This week has been kind of hard on me. I had to put down my little dog, my little buddy that I talk about every now and then. I'm sure you heard him in the background several times, either rattling his collar or he had a terrible cough that he had. But I had taken him to the vet prior to this, and they did some blood work up on him and found that he had Cushing's disease, and that he had a big tumor in his tummy that couldn't be taken out. And he was going down real fast. He really was. And I did not want the dog to suffer, because I don't do that. And I asked my vet, which I really like my vet, I really do, you know, what would you do? And he said the nicest thing. He says, you know, we go by the quality of an animal's life. And for my little dog, the quality of his life was now over. And so what was really nice about my vet is that he comes to my house to do this. I I've had 3 other dogs. My little Deanna went last January, and then I had my little Peanut and my Beanie that I had to do all in one day. That was very difficult. And now I've had to do Buddy, and very simple process where the vet comes to my house and I get to hold my little dog, and they just put in kind of a little tranquilizer shot, very, very simple, in their back leg, and that relaxes them where they're just pretty much sleeping then. And then he put the IV in, and within just seconds their heart stops. And then that allows me time for not only grieving, but that I can wrap him in his favorite blanket, which I did. And then the vet takes him away. And in about 4 days, it'll be probably next week, the end of next week, that I will get the cremation ashes back. And I can put Buddy with Peanut and Beanie and Deanna. And I'm sure right now he's up in doggy heaven right now, playing with his brothers and sisters. So that's, like I said, been kind of a hard week on me going through that. I didn't have the dog very long. I only had Buddy about a year. I had adopted him, waiting for my little Daisy May of my miniature dachshund puppy. And in the interim, as people called it, I had little Buddy. Didn't know very much about him at all, other than nobody wanted him. I was the only one on the list that wanted him. And so I brought him home, and even the vet said, you know, that I gave Buddy a very good life in that year. But health problems are health problems, whether you're an animal or whether you're a human. You know, you just have to address the health problems, and I did. So it's been very quiet in the house, and Daisy's done pretty good. She really has. She's not, you know, wandering around looking for him or anything. I'm sure she knows that he's gone, but it's all right. It's okay. Well, and in talking with you, I forgot to do one step, and that's okay. And this is why I try to say to everybody to go slow or you'll miss a step, and I did. And this is why it's cooking your kitchen the way you want to. So what do you think I missed on my step? Which is fairly simple to do now. What I will do is I will take the jar lid off. I will take this up. I'm going to stick it back in the water while I'm doing this. Make sure they're sterilized. And I forgot to take out the air bubbles. It can happen to anybody. So again, I can't find my little plastic canning one. So I just take a knife and go along the sides and make sure that the air bubbles are out of the jar. And that's what I get for talking. It's okay. It's really okay. It happens to the best of us. I'm no professional at this by any means. Pick up my lid again, put it back on the jars. In talking with you about my poor little dog, I forgot one step. But like I said, I'm doing very, very much better knowing that he's in a better place. I want to thank all those that reached out to me, texting me, calling me, giving their condolences about my dog, because it's hard. You know, it's hard to put a dog down. It is. Under any circumstance, it is. And I told the vet I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to get an older dog that has, you know, health problems. I just, it's too hard on you. But I sure enjoyed him while I had him. Sweet, sweet little boy. He really was. And so that's been kind of my week that that happened. But trying to get my mind off of it was yesterday. I went out and I treated Daisy May to a new collar and a new tag for her. Hers was getting kind of old because she kept chewing on it. So I got that at PetSmart, and while I was out, is when I went to those yard sales and the estate sale, and that was nice. It was nice just to get out. I may go back and get that canner. I don't know. It's still on my mind. So I may go back and get it. It was a nice little pressure cooker. Okay. So I think you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing now. That it's fairly simple if you just don't miss a step. Which happens. It happens. So these peaches, I couldn't go very much longer, or I was going to lose them. They were just getting way too ripe. And you can only eat just so many peaches at one time. This way, I can save them now, and I can pull them out at any time. And I want to make some homemade ice cream, and I think I'll make the peach ice cream, and that'll be kind of nice. I like peaches on, believe it or not, I got kind of hooked on this from my dad. He used to like cottage cheese with peaches on top, and the syrup was so good. And always vanilla ice cream that he would have peaches with. Very, very good. So I didn't get my peach pie or a peach cobbler done this year, but because it's just me so much of the time, I can't eat all those pastries. Certainly not a big pie or a cake. So normally I'm ending up giving them away on a lot of my stuff. And that's okay, everybody likes it. It's just makes a large quantity. So I'm down to 2 peaches, which I will keep going as far as the boiling method and getting them in here. I will do that part. Let's fill this one and start setting it in my canner here. Want to keep that syrup hot. You really do. And because this is a hot liquid going into hot water bath here, we're going to be just fine on, the jars aren't going to break or have any problem. And that's fine. Take out those air bubbles. Right around. And you just want to go along the side of the jar there and just kind of get them all out. Okay. Get another lid in here. And in no time at all, I'll have these peaches done. And I'll have these peaches done and put up for the year. Okay, so that's going to be what it looks like. Then again, I will set, may have to boil some more jars. Obviously I will. I will be setting these down in my water, right here. Pulling this back over onto the burner. Setting each jar carefully in the water. Careful in the water. And it has to come up an inch on the top. So let me grab some more water. It's pretty full here. All the way up. I have to get my pressure cooker out. These are larger jars. These are larger jars. Yep, I'm going to get my pressure cooker out because it is a deeper. I usually do this size in here. So I'll do that and be right back. Okay, I had a little mishap happen, and it happens to anybody. It really does. One of my jars did break when it went down in the water. Now, there could be a couple of explanations to this. Either while I was talking with you, I screwed the lid down just a little bit too tight from finger tight, or when it went in, because it hadn't started boiling or doing anything yet, you know, the jar was a little bit not hot enough. And so I had to take that out. I have placed it now in my pressure cooker pot, which is larger, just so that I could get it all on the top part of the 1 inch of water. Now I'm going to cook this for 20 minutes. And then when that's done, I'm going to take it out and set it over here on my nice clean kitchen towel and leave it alone for them to cool down. I'm going to continue to fill some more jars. I'm going to boil and sterilize a couple more jars so that I can finish these peaches before I lose them. But that is my cooking of the dip and slip, because that's all you do. You just dip it in some hot water. The skins slip right off. Cook your sugar syrup. I use 10.5 quarts of the water versus 2.5 cups of the sugar. And keep it nice and hot, not boiling, but nice and hot while you're still doing all your process of the canning. Put your peaches in, whether you do halves or whether you do slices. It doesn't really matter. If you have the open larger mouth jars, that's great. I think I'm going to do the rest of mine in the bigger jars so I can get halves in there. Put the water in there as far as your syrup water after you've filled your jars with the peaches, and wipe off the rims. Be sure and stick something, a knife or something down in there to get the air bubbles out, and put your lids on and your bands and finger tight it. And then cook it in your hot water bath for 20 minutes. So from my kitchen to yours, I'm starting off with a bang this morning, but it's gonna work out, it really is. Just had a little hiccup of the pot not being big enough, because I usually use the smaller canning jars for my water bath of my larger pans. So, but that's okay. I hope you're having a glorious Saturday. When I get done here, I'm going to try to go back to this that estate sale to see if they have my sprinkler for outside on the lawn. Catch you next time on Cooking with Carol Diane. Bye-bye now.